let's record this to the cloud. And I think it's official. We are recording. So welcome back, folks. So Laura, you've been on the show before a couple of times this year. Earlier, I think you literally broke 100 million while we were on the show. I think it happened that day, right? And here we are, end of December, the 19th to be specific. And where are you guys at? What's the magic number? Where are we?
Right now, by the end of the day, we'll be close to 140.
Whew.
I think 138-ish.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yes. Never know. I love the music on this show. I just come for the DJ.
Well, we got to give it to you. We got to give it up to you.
Thank you.
And I know, you're not an army of one. In fact, I think I saw him on here. You are a team, and your husband, Mark, works with you as well, correct?
He does, yes. And we have a great team. Beside that, I actually think Natalie's on. Natalie Boone, who's been with me on this crazy journey for like 15, 16 years. Alexa, who's not on. So those are my high-level coordinators, pre-underwriters. Then we hired a lady named Anna, who is my first loan partner. That's like a loan sales assistant about a few months ago.
Very cool. Very cool. So you're growing. And we talked about that in the green room. You're growing because this year, you guys actually bested last year, right? You grew, about 30 million this year? 40? Almost 40.
Yes, almost 40 million. Yeah. And we just hired a loan officer too, who's new, who we're helping mentor as well. But yeah, we grew 30%, 35%, maybe 40 by the end of the year. There's still 2 weeks, almost.
Anything can happen. Anything can happen, right?
But that's the thing. If you have that mentality, I've always had it. And is it a little bit crazy? Sure. But we're all in this business, right? We're all a little crazy to be in this business. If you have that, like, anything can happen, you never know. Don't pin yourself on, I only do this, or I'm only capable of this. You never know what you're capable of and what's in front of you. My opinion.
Well, I love that mentality. And, I know a little bit about your backstory, but, some of the folks on here may not. So let's go back in time a little bit. If I remember, and I'm going to try to get this right. You were from Florida?
Yes.
Traveled across country in a bus.
Van.
And
same thing.
Breaks down in Georgia? Is that, or just stopped? Everything stops in Georgia?
Pretty much, yeah.
And then you got into NLP. Started with Boys Club Mortgage Club, right? Like a consumer direct.
It was all Boys
business.
Club back then.
Yeah. And you saw these guys taking advantage of people, and you said, "I don't like this."
Correct. Yeah, I went to get a mortgage. All of that is true. I was, kind of like lost, 19, 20. Like, where do I do with my life? Driving across country, ran out of money in Atlanta. Met a hypnotist. This is true. My mom loved this part of my life, I'll tell you. It was fantastic. And started doing NLP and hypnosis training, sales trainings. For those who aren't familiar with NLP, it's neuro-linguistic programming. Kind of like Anthony Robbins is the biggest one that people recognize that does that. And then I went to get a mortgage, did that for a few years, was still kind of lost, and went to go get a house and was treated really poorly and thought I could do this. I grew up with a single mom. When something broke, we fixed it. Yeah. We didn't have Google. We bought the big ass, the encyclopedia out. Like, how do we fix this? And so I thought I could do this. And then,
I got you covered. If you
right. Yeah. It was, it really was, for the women on the call. It was a man's club back then. It was not a lot. There was not a lot of women originators. And I did work for kind of like a sweatshop and like a call center, and people would call in, and the owner thought everybody needed a mortgage, even those who didn't. And I thought everyone deserves a house. We didn't match in our, in our beliefs, and I was denying people, saying, no, this isn't the right time. You should try this, fix your credit. And he didn't like that, so So I left. I saw, well, I mean, it taught me a lot. It taught me about how to treat people and how things were happening out there. And people were like, oh, I can get 4 points on this person. And, if they have bad credit, it just felt wrong. So I felt like, protective, like an advocate. That's how I started my business.
Amen. Amen. And so we start a business, and what do we call it?
Truth and Lending.
You can't handle the truth.
I had to come up with that one quick, and I had to call the Department of Banking and Finance to make sure that was okay, because it's obviously the Truth and Lending used to exist before TRID.
That's very cool. Very cool. So, and then you just started doing $100 million in volume, and that's the
immediately, right? No. No, but I started to have long-term thinking because I figured I was going to be here for a while. Why not? And I try to tell my kids that, like, you're going to be doing something. You might as well start doing a little bit of something, and it adds up eventually.
Yeah.
So, people would come to me and say, I can't get a mortgage. I don't know what to do. My credit's bad. And instead of like looking at it like, well, I'm not going to make a paycheck this month, I thought, let me counsel them and guide them. And that started to become what I call my future pipelines, where it's like I'm closing somebody in 90 days, 100 days, a year, 2 years, where they would come back and feel heard and validated. That was part of the whole, like, I believe everyone deserves a home, but some people can't get a house right now.
So, we talked a little bit in the green room, and, one of the things I was talking about was, hey, was there ever a point where you're just like, I could never get there? And I know you're a modest person, but you said, no, I've always felt like I could accomplish anything that anybody else can do. Right. And I love that mindset. I have a feeling, does that come from the NLP programming as well? Did that help you, or was it always there?
I think that comes from being delusional at times, but a little delusion is okay. Yeah. I did not have a normal upbringing for school. I basically went to the 9th grade and then quit and just was like a wanderer, and joined Rocky Horror Picture Show for a few years. Like, I had kind of a weird upbringing. I didn't go to college. So I think, like Mark and I talked about this, I think I just never got the belief that, you have to do it this way. You can't do this. Like, the things that they teach you in school. School's wonderful. Education's wonderful. I believe, self-education, continue to educate myself. But some of the things they tell you are wrong. You can only do this. You can't do this. How do you know? Someone else is doing it. Why not? So I think and NLP absolutely helped me. I think I've always believed if someone else can do something, why can't I? Now, that's not true for surgery or, so, flying an airplane. But for this, yeah, I always felt good. And now, that's not to say I don't have days of, of just terrible self-worth and days where we're all just questioning ourselves as humans. I mean, I'm human, but I think that the belief that I have is the basis for the structure that I've created. Amen. Which is I can do whatever, I put my mind to, which is what is important.
Anything you can do, I can do better.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I watched that movie growing up. They told me that, and I believe them.
Amen. Amen. Well, and I think that's a lot of, how you can build success as long as you believe in yourself. It starts there. You've got to believe in yourself. You've got to have that self-belief. And, and then a lot of work, right? And I think you're right. You also got to be a little crazy. You got to be a little delusional, because along the way, I'm sure there's a lot of people that are saying, what are you doing? Right? Like, this isn't going to work the way that you think it's going to work, right? Did you ever run into that?
Yeah, you're a woman. I mean, I've had people come into my office and think I was the receptionist years ago, and try to get to the owner. And that was fun. I enjoyed that moment.
You're talking to her.
Really? And then you see how people treat people that they think are not owners. Anyway, yes, sorry, what was the question? Now I'm like,
I don't think there was a question. Yeah, just, but if there is a question, it's, if there's anybody on here and you had to go backwards and restart this big thing that you have all over again, right? We're approaching 2026. And Some people didn't hit their goals this year. Some people didn't grow 35%. And some people are looking for answers right now. Like, how do I get to that point? And some people are like, hey, look, I'm happy where I'm at. I don't want to grow. But for the ones that want to grow, the ones that want to get to 100 million plus, right? Like, what does that road look like? What do you have to do to get there? Let's start with like the first thing you would do.
Yeah. So first of all, success is defined by each person. It's a personal thing. Somebody may not want to do 100 million. They may be doing 200 million. They may be doing 30. It doesn't matter. Whatever you find is your goal for success. I think the biggest thing that I would say is having a team that supports you. That is, I think, the biggest thing. If I had to go back and change things, I probably would have built a team earlier. I did it on my own for a while, and kind of was a control freak too for a while. And you'd like things done a certain way, and I kind of got stuck in that. But yeah, I think I would have built a team earlier. I'm glad the team I have right now is the absolute best, the best in the business. It truly is. Even looking from outside, it's incredible. And just having that that foundation, that structure of the company that I'm at, I have, people that I go to. I mean, I certainly do not know everything. I lean on people. I think I see Brian Lovell on the call. He's kind of my coach. He doesn't know it. He's like, he may know it. But he's fantastic. And just, you have to be able to do the business that we do. You have to delegate. You have to, it's important to do that, to grow.
I want to touch on something because you brought up a point that early on in your career, you had a hard time giving up some of the work, right? Nobody can do it better than me. I think that's where a lot of it gets stuck. It's like, hey, I do this better than everybody else. I'm not going to give this up, right? But you've also indicated that having a team is what's allowed for you to grow, right? How did you give up that control? Like, what was the defining moment where you're like, enough's enough. I've got to give this up so that I can actually get where I want to go and get out of my own way.
Yeah. So that was not probably the best moments of like my sanity. I mean, that really is like, if you cannot have to go through almost losing your mind to get to the point where you're just desperate to need help, try to be more proactive. That's my goal. And moving forward in 26 is try to be proactive and intentional with what you do. But like, I was a single mom of 3. I have a special needs kid. I was like, I can't do this. I just kind of was at a breaking point, and we shouldn't be at a breaking point to make a good decision. We all have different decision making strategies, and mine was like run from at that point. I need some help. So I think that's what happened. But you certainly don't have to do that to make a good decision to grow. And it is at that point. I sat with an agent who was going through the same thing this week, where back then, like, I was like, do I have enough business to hire somebody? Like, it's a trust thing. It's kind of like that stepping off the mount, jumping off the mountain or stepping on that next, step to see where you can go. And you have to trust that you can get there. And you know what? I failed a lot. I've had a lot of failures and mistakes, and they're just stepping stones to get to where you want to go and to be successful. You're gonna fail. You're gonna make mistakes. That's life, And I tell my kids the same thing. They come home upset. Oh, I messed up. Okay, great, good job. You've learned, learn from that, because it's gonna happen again. Guess what? That's life. Deal with it. I think that one of the things that somehow I learned over the years is it's okay. It's okay. Just let it go. But yeah.
Well, before I fill the question, because we've got one that came in, I do want to touch on something, and that's, what was that point where you say, this is where I needed to go ahead and move forward, right? Because you said I questioned, when the right time to start hiring people was. What was that? Let's say if there was a number, I know it's tough to put a number on, but let's say there was a number, I'm hitting these type of transactions, getting this amount of leads, like this is the point where I know I need additional support.
Yeah. I mean, I think I was doing around 50, 60 million, and couldn't get to that next level, and kept, I was working, we were working till 2, 3 in the morning. Natalie, who's on here, quiet, may not want to talk, but she was working till 2, 3 in the morning. It was just too much. And you know what, guys, it's great to close a lot of loans, but like we love to see our family too, and take care of our health and self-care. Self-care is so important in every business, but also especially ours. My God, our business is so hard. It's full of so much drama. We have to kind of cleanse our soul at the end of the day. So yeah, no, it was just, if you're finding yourself working too much and your systems are not working, what used to work, here's a good one. What used to work is no longer working. Something has to change. Is it hire an assistant? I don't know, but something has to change. And if you don't know what to do, then find somebody that you trust to talk to. And I have at least 3 of those people on this call right now with, Mark Witte, Natalie Boone, Brian Lovell. These are people that I go to because I don't know everything. The ego's not stuck here. I don't have the chip on my shoulder. Like, I'm confident, but I don't have that, like, I know everything. I certainly don't. So go talk to somebody.
Have a mentor and peers that you can lean into.
So important.
Yeah. Quick question, and then we're going to field Lynn's. So you said 50, 60 million. It's you, it's Natalie. What's Natalie doing for you at that point in time? So is she, Natalie, are we processing?
What isn't she doing? What wasn't she doing?
Yeah, so is she building the file
laughing.
and putting it together, and you're out, working, like, what did that look like?
Yeah,
50, 60 million, two people.
Let's say this. I try to do what I do well, which is sales. I do sales well. I know how to structure a loan. Of course, I know how to be a loan officer. I know how to do everything. I've processed. I've done it all, right? But let me focus on what my strengths are. That's what, if you want to succeed, figure out what your strengths are. Ask people. If you don't know, ask somebody you trust, ask a few people, and then hire somebody to help you with what is not your strength or what is something that is their strength. Like Natalie is brilliant at everything. She was an underwriter, processing manager, auditor. So she can look at a file and figure out just about anything on it. I mean, we save a lot of deals that other people, agents say, can you help me with this? The loan officer couldn't do this. And I think 9 out of 10 times we figure out something between her and I. She's my other half. She's my other half of my brain.
So this question's going to pop up. I want to find a Natalie, right? Like, I want to find this unicorn out there in the universe, right? Like, where do we find Natalie? Like, how did that relationship start?
Yeah. I mean, you got to find a Natalie and a Mark. And Mark, luckily, I married him. So, legally he has to do this. I'm kidding. I don't even know if Mark knew what his strengths were. I mean, he was on the show with Scotty. He was doing like commercial moves and stuff, and he's brilliant at marketing. So how do you find a Natalie? I mean, I can't say that's the easiest thing to do, but you have to, what you put out there, you get back. So you have to start the search. I mean, you're not going to do it without looking, posting ads, trying to reach out to your network to find people.
What were we looking for though? Like, if we had to kind of put a label on, what was the ad? I want a processor, I want a loan assistant, I want somebody that has this back. Like, what did that look like?
Right. At the time, it was for loan assistant. Okay. And it has grown into so much more than that. I would say, there's, the title is senior loan coordinator or pipeline manager at this point. Right. But I mean, what Natalie does is pre-underwrites files for me. She reviews documents, high level stuff with income, self-employed income, just pre-processing stuff, helping the processor, coordinating with the client, just a lot. But it started with assistant position.
Okay. And what was her accreditation before she started? What was she doing before she started with your team, Laura?
I don't, Natalie, you're on the call.
What were you doing, Natalie? What was were you in the industry? Were you in the business?
I know she was. I can't remember what she was doing. If she was auditing at that point, or I'm putting you on the spot now.
She's typing it in. One of your customers heard you were looking for an assistant. He worked with my husband, introduced us at a time during the mortgage downturn. I had been laid off from IW. IW was...
What was IW? I know she was doing, that's right, I did her husband's loan.
No, I'm
So yeah, but she was at that point, I think it was almost like, she was managing processors. She was
Got it.
an auditor. She was a high level person that I was lucky enough to where she's like, maybe I'll give this a try.
Yeah.
So I got really lucky, but you're not going to find it if you don't look.
Put
If
it
you
out
don't
there. You got to put it out there. Put it out there.
And clearly define what you're looking for.
Okay, so we're going to field a couple questions. Lynn wants to know, she's always wanted to get NLP training. Where can she, what's the best resource for that? Where should she go to get NLP training?
The best resource, well, a couple of things. Let me heart this here. Hold on. So Richard Bandler was the creator of NLP, and let me just make sure that I think it's Society of NLP is his. Let me find it. Hold on one second. I will get it. If you go to Dr. Richard Bandler, and I can put it in
the chat.
Yeah, persuasion engineering. I've learned there's a lot of people that I've learned from. He is the creator. If you Google him, you'll find that. Let me look one more way. But I'm also working on a book about NLP and mortgages. I don't even know there was no books about NLP and mortgages. So I'm working on that. And I will, I guess, let you all know when that's done. I don't know when that will be. But NLP is fantastic. It's a wonderful, let's see.
And I dropped richardbandler.com in there. Laura, I don't know if that's the right link, but I did put it in the chat. So.
And then here it is, Pure NLP. Fantastic resources. John Lavelle is one of the trainers, and it's fantastic. I feel like it saved my life. I mean, back then I was kind of, like I said, a lost kid coming out of being lost. Like I was a teenage runaway, all that stuff. Like I was really, lost. So I used it for psychology, and then I used it for sales. It's really a fantastic tool to learn how to have better internal language. Better, really important, what you say to yourself, and that affects what you say to others and how you respond and how they respond. It's all connected. It's important.
It is. Yeah. Greg Garrett wants to know, do you own your own company or do you work with your own brand under someone else? And I know this answer, but I'm going to let you answer.
Right. Yes. So Truth in Lending Team was a company that I closed during the crash. And then I am partners with other people at Highland Mortgage. So I'm one of the owners. Mark's one of the owners. And so Truth in Lending is now a team within Highland Mortgage.
And then Mark said, and I think there's probably an inside joke behind this, how many times did you interview Natalie before you brought her on?
Oh, like 120 times. That's what she'll tell you. Like 3 times, but every year it gets more. I had never worked. I was doing, I don't know, 40, 50 million on my own. I had like a receptionist and a processor and raising kids, and like I was going crazy, and I had never hired anybody. Natalie's like, LOL. And so I was nervous. Like I said, letting go of control. But I think sometimes I have learned that when you let go, you get so much more. And it's a beautiful thing.
Amen. Amen. Well, Natalie said she was having trouble getting off mute. She was an underwriter for and auditing for Federal Home Loan Bank for the SE region, U.S. before getting laid off in the downturn. And Laura found you after she'd been laid off for 6 months. So she was looking for an answer, had a background in the business, right? And you wanted to interview her 120 times before you give her a shot. I love it.
At least 120.
I love it. I love it. Well, let's field some questions. Who's got some questions for Laura? We've got a big producer here. We're coming into the new year. Anybody that has, something that big that they want to accomplish next year. What do you want to ask Laura? 1, 2, 3, not it? Nobody wants to know anything? I see Margot waving her hand.
Okay, here we go.
We got her. What's up, Margot? What you got?
First of all, thanks for sharing all this. I tell you, I see a lot of myself in you. So I'm fairly new with Premiere. What would you suggest I do? My pipeline is typical of somebody who overmanages, is up, down, up, down. So what would you suggest I do with the tools that Premiere has to be able to kind of level out?
Okay. I am assuming Premiere has great tools. I'm not sure what
Oh,
Premiere
you
has,
don't
but I'm
use their
sure.
tools? Okay.
Yeah, she's not with Premier, so she's with
Oh, I
Highland
thought she
Mortgage.
was.
Yeah,
Oh,
she's with
sorry
Highland
Yeah,
then.
yeah,
Mortgage.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. So
But
just
I'm
so you know,
sure
Laura,
they're
yeah,
wonderful.
yeah, I'm with Premier, just so you know, Laura. So
Right.
we do have
Yes.
good tools, and Margot,
Okay,
I'm
good.
going to teach
Devin's
you how
there,
to
they
use
have
all of
great
them.
tools.
I'm new at Premiere. I don't know who's who yet.
It's okay. It's all right. If Devin's there, it's wonderful. It's okay. It's all
All
right.
right,
I'm sure you
good.
guys
That's what I
have great
think.
tools. Okay, so you're experiencing the
The roller coaster.
like
Yeah.
the roller coaster of
Yep.
sales, right? So that's one of the things that that I don't know if I say figured out, but something that I think is building like the different pipelines. That's important. Organizing your client database. So there's a few things, like how many clients are you getting? How many pre-approvals are you getting? How are you organizing those?
Yeah.
They have to be organized in a certain, on a timeline, right? So in NLP, they talk about timelines, different timelines. So in sales, we have different timelines, and that's what helps us to get off of that, roller coaster of selling, servicing. And then we're also talking about like having help. You have to find the resources within your company, which I'm sure you have great resources, to be able to get yourself out of the day-to-day things that you're doing that are keeping you away from selling. So it's about organizing your pipeline and the leads that you get, putting them on. I have like reminders that I use. It's really simple. I put it in my calendar. I'm going to call this person in 60 days and 90 days or whatever days, because they're working on their credit, staying in touch with them on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. At the same time, getting yourself out of the, I don't know what, fishbowl, the fish, you could, be the fish or get out of the fishbowl, to use the resources you have at Premiere to be able to sell. You just want to sell. You have to sell and go out and market yourself and do events. I mean, like Mark, I never really did a lot of those things. And Mark Witte, my husband, was like, I'm not happy with what I'm doing. I want to move. And then to find out that not only is he an amazing husband, but he's also brilliant at marketing, and events, which was very nice. I mean, it was nice for our team to be able to do that. And I had never done that before because I had like a fear of public speaking. And I used NLP to get over that as well, because they have something called the phobia cure, and something called circles of excellence. These are things you can Google. You got to get yourself out there, and you got to get yourself out of the trenches, so to speak. So whatever tools you have at Premiere to be able to help you do that, and to organize your time and your clients better, to get yourself where you want to go. That's the best high level answer I can give you.
I love that you said that, Laura, because Margaret and I met yesterday, and I said, we're going to get your database organized, and we're going to get you set up with an LP so that we can help you get where you need to go. So you're literally, that's music to my ears.
Yeah. Well, the fact that think about this, Margot, the fact that you're asking this question already assumes that this is what you need to do.
Right.
And you're the kind of person who will get the answers and get to where you need to go. Like, why not assume that all of that is true? It seems to be obvious to me. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're
Raphael,
welcome.
my man, I see you got your hand up. What do you got for Laura?
Hey, Laura, good morning.
Hi,
Let me ask you this question. After so much success and so much drama, as you said, why are you keep doing it?
Oh, well, I'm a lifer, Raphael. I'm in this. There's so many different aspects of why I love what I do. but besides working with the people I work with, the helping people, like the puzzle of helping figure out how to get somebody where they want to go. Again, being protective of, not so much nowadays because of all the different things, but just kind of being an advocate for people. It never is boring. I mean, that's one thing you got to say about what we do, guys, right? It's not boring. It's not a boring day. And to continue to push myself kind of past my comfort zone and make new goals. Like I actually really like what I do.
Love it.
And and money's great. I mean,
Thank you.
Yeah. You got to figure out. I mean, you made a good point. If you let me say something real quick,
please,
Devin. You got to figure out why you're in this business. Why are you in this business? Any business that you do, whether you stay in this business or not, you got to figure out what your why is. People talk about that because people will sense that, and that's like the basis for why you do what you do and why you're passionate about what you do. What you do. I'll tell you something. And you guys, I'm sure, have had this experience. We just hired this is going to be weird and random. We just hired a pest control company, right, to help us with a rental property. And the guy was like the most informed, most passionate person I've ever met about doing pest control and termite. I was like, I was nerding out. I was like, this is so cool. Just watching him talk. He was so excited about it. It doesn't matter what you do. It matters how you feel about what you do, right? I mean, it does matter what you do, but it matters how you feel about what you do. Why are you doing this? If you don't know why you're doing this, take the next 2 weeks before the beginning of the year and figure it out. And you're either in or you're out. You cannot be half-ass in this business. You can't, unless you want. You have to be the whole ass. Exactly. You have to be in or out. They talk about that in NLP as being congruent. If you're congruent in what you do and in your life, you're going to get, I believe you're going to eventually get what you want. And if you're not, you're going to get what you don't want. That's my wisdom of the day.
Amazing wisdom. Go all in, believe in yourself, and know why you're doing it, right? And if you don't love what you're doing, you got to do something else. You got to do something else, right? I love this industry. I think, Laura, I think you do too. And despite the fact that it's wild and crazy and we're on a ride every single week, every single day, I couldn't see myself doing anything else. And that's where you've got to be. You've got to love what you're doing and just do it for the right reasons, right? For the right reasons.
Yeah.
Killer. Well, Carlos says, and I think it's a great way to close out. What's
Carlos.
the one non-negotiable that you're focusing on going into 2026?
Yeah, I love that. Mark. Carlos, hi. Good to see that you're on. Non-negotiable. That's so funny that you said that because I have that written in my kitchen for my kids to see and for me to see. What are your non-negotiables? I have so many non-negotiables. I think for me personally, like boundaries in every aspect, in every form of life, in my business and my health, self-care, just time with my family, clients that I want to work with people that see my value, right? We all have these clients that have their hands out or agents that have their hands out. They want more and more and more. And I want to be valued for my time. So I think that maybe my biggest non-negotiable coming out of this is to make sure I work with people that support that and me. And you all should do that too, because you're all worth it. I'm telling you.
Know your self-worth.
Yes. Yeah, that's my non-negotiable. Thank you, Carlos, for helping me define that.
What do you think, guys? Laura Witte, folks. Absolute rock star. And man, thank you, Laura, so much for coming back. I think, 3 or 4 times this year to share your story, to share with everybody out there. I know there's a lot of people that inspire to get where you are. And, sometimes it's great to be able to hear the ride and the motivation behind, and the team behind the support, right? So again, thanks, guys. Anybody else have anything before we let her go today? That sums it up. All right.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Happy holidays. Thank you guys for coming every single week. We will be back next Monday, 9 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Central. And yeah, we're going to keep bringing great guests like Laura. And man, we just appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Mark. Thank you guys so much for coming.
Thank
So
you,
we will
guys.
see
Thank
you on
you,
the
guys.
next one. Until then.